So having partnerships early on when you can leverage each other and not have to bring on staff that maybe your business can't support yet was huge. And it, gave me access to other people who are thinking big, who are thinking about the future, who are thinking about problem solving, not getting dissuaded by the problems that come at you every day.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil. Today, I'm joined by someone that I'm looking forward to chatting with, Chris Lento, who is the founder and managing member of EM Capital. So excited to have you here today, Chris.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Michelle.
Awesome. Yeah, I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching investing in the multifamily space. So let's dive in. First off, for those who are not familiar with you and your world, can you share what your main focus is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a multifamily real estate investor. So we partner with investors to raise capital. We buy multifamily properties in the Carolinas and Atlanta metro area. Typically, we look for 1990s vintage or newer, 15 million to 60 million acquisition price. Buy those properties is usually some value add component, whether it's exterior improvements, interior renovations, management improvements, or the opportunity to cut costs or add additional revenue. We hire third-party property management. We run the properties for between 3 and 7 years with a target of 5 years, giving investors quarterly returns along the way. And then we exit the property in a tax-advantaged manner, giving the investors solid returns.
Awesome. And what markets are you primarily operating in?
So right now, our biggest market's Atlanta. We also have properties in Columbia, South Carolina, Baltimore, Raleigh, Charlotte, and Louisville, Kentucky.
Awesome. And so how did you fund EM Capital? How did you come up with that idea and concept and get started?
Yeah, so I graduated from college with a mechanical engineering degree and started working for effectively a defense contractor here in Boston. I live in Boston. And I moved into a 3-unit apartment building. Boston has tons of these 3-deckers. They're one apartment on top of each other. And I moved in with some friends, and I thought we were paying pretty high rent. And, we had these 2 other units paying high rent. And I was just sort of like, how does this work? Who owns this building? I met the owner. He was kind of a very normal guy. And I just got intrigued, like how does this whole industry work? This was the early 2000s. So I bought some books, started talking to some people. There weren't podcasts like this. The internet was not that great for this kind of research, and just dived in. And then about a year and a half later, I bought a 3-family with like an illegal unit in the basement that I moved into in a not as nice area of town.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And then from there, I started building my portfolio. And then about 2017, I kind of hit a point in my career where I could see like the next steps and nothing was that exciting. And I decided I was going to try to figure out how to make real estate a full-time job. So started talking to people, kind of expanding my network, got onto the concept of not necessarily investing just in your own backyard, but in diverse locations that maybe have better economics, and then also raising capital. And then once I sort of got those two key pieces, I started my own business. 6 months later, quit my job, and I'm doing this for almost 8 years now.
Amazing. That's so cool that you went for it and were able to create success.
Yeah, it was a little scary, but
Sure, always is. What do you feel are some of the main keys that have made the biggest difference in allowing your business to be able to run successfully and grow?
I think strategic partnerships and relationships have been key, because when you're starting off, it seems like maybe this is a business you could do on your own, and it's just not. There's so many moving parts. There's a significant amount of work to do between raising capital, finding deals, managing the deals. So having partnerships early on, when you can leverage each other and not have to bring on staff that maybe your business can't support yet, was huge. And it gave me access to other people who are thinking big, who are thinking about the future, who are thinking about problem solving, not getting dissuaded by the problems that come at you every day.
Absolutely. When it comes to strategic partnerships, is that something that like your company is founded on, or that you're just working with as you invest?
It wasn't the intent to found the company on that. However, I did come across some strategic partners very early on that we've stayed together for, the past 5 years and done a number of deals together. The groups just work well together and fill each other's deficiencies. And it's turned out to be kind of a key to the success of all three groups.
Awesome. And why specifically is multifamily the investment strategy that you have chosen?
Yeah, that's fair. A couple reasons. One, I think I just kind of came into it the way a lot of people do, is that it's very accessible. So nearly everyone in the country has rented an apartment at some point. Everybody needs a place to live. So the demand is very clear, and there's a deficiency. So there's a housing shortage and a multifamily shortage in the country. We have not been keeping up with the population growth and the household formation in the last, decade. The demand's there. There's favorable economics. You can get good loans in the multifamily space that people in the office and industrial space would kill for, and you can scale. So you can scale to large properties relatively easily, and you can get used to the asset class, and you can kind of understand renovation scopes and scoping problems across markets relatively easily, whereas some of the other asset classes have more unique property types.
Definitely, that makes sense. And I know that you mentioned that raising capital is something that you're really focused on. Can you expand on what that process looks like for you?
Sure. So typically our properties or our deals are 506C properties, which means we're syndicating the investment. So our investors will bring in $50,000 minimum investments, and they get a limited partnership in the investment entity. And that'll give them a right to a certain percentage of the property, meaning the cash flow and the profit at sale. So we get a property under contract. I have a group of investors who have invested with me in the past, and then another group that have expressed interest, and then another group that I'm hoping will express interest. So we get a property under contract, even in that pre-period, I'll start sending out emails, letting people know that, hey, there's something coming. I will post on LinkedIn. I will kind of just talk to connections and then start sending out repetitive emails with more information on the property as we get it under contract, as we, finish the due diligence, as we have our investor documents ready to sign, and then just make phone calls, call people, see if they've seen the emails, see if they'd like to speak further about it. And that's just when a property is launched. Now, kind of consistently,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I'm talking to investors, getting their inputs, gauging interest, trying to expand that list so that and trying to educate people. What don't they understand about the space that would make them more comfortable? What are their goals? How could this fit into their goals for the future? And maybe it doesn't, and that's fine. But that also helps me understand that they're not a good fit, and I can move on to people that we are a good fit. So it's a pretty involved process, and it's not one that I just gravitate towards. So it's about setting up the right processes and getting support necessary to keep it consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you structure that deal in order to protect the investors?
A couple ways. So one, the syndication structure means the investors have limited liability, meaning their liability is restricted entirely to what they invest. So you can't, if there was a horrific accident on the property or gross negligence on the part of the property manager and there was a big lawsuit, those investors cannot be gone after individually. So they're kind of walled off from the property through multiple levels, but very specifically in the syndication operating agreement. And then, really, but at a holistic level, it's making sure that the investors are at the forefront of all the decisions. There's quite often decisions that come up. Like we just sold a cell phone tower contract on the top of one of our properties. And we were kind of going back and forth whether we wanted to do it. It was going to be quite an effort. We've never done it before. But, we had a group meeting and we said, well, we can give the investors a pretty good return after only 3 years. It only makes our investment better. And that is the kind of thing that will really make investors happy about this investment and investing with us. And it will definitely improve the total project returns for them because they're getting their capital back early. And at a slightly higher rate than we had projected. So, there's the structural elements, the legal documentation, but then there's just the culture of, what's best for the investors here. What do the investors need to know? What kind of information do they want to know? What is the right decision to support the investors? Because we're really aligned, right? These aren't one-off deals. We want our investors to come back and roll their investments right into the next deal. Or they get a sales bonus. We'd love them to think about, hey, how can I invest this into real estate?
Yeah, amazing. Sounds like an exciting opportunity. What are you most focused on solving or scaling to next in your business?
Since I'm an engineer, by trade, I'm very excited about the opportunities that AI is opening up for scaling. How to do things better, how to be more efficient with my time and see more opportunities. So, a lot of this business is kind of a numbers game. Like how many properties can you evaluate? How many can you underwrite? Of that total, some small percentage are going to get through your first line filters. So how do you make all of that faster and better? How do you improve your filters? How do you get better properties to buy? And that's just on the acquisition side. And you can apply that in a number of areas. So I'm very excited about kind of the mechanics of how AI can be utilized. And then I'm also very interested to see how it's going to change the whole industry.
Absolutely. Is there like specific ways that you are currently working with it that you find really helpful to share?
Yeah, so I actually just hired someone to focus on process automation and AI integration. And so right now, what they're doing is making kind of an automation so that when our property managers release our financials, that they automatically get put into our operations or our asset tracking sheet, which has a number of like performance metrics and graphs, so that that automatically updates that. It notifies us and creates an AI summary of kind of key property areas for the month that we can then quickly kind of put in a more digestible format. So just things that take per property maybe like 3 hours per month before you can even kind of digest it. Now it'll be real time. So that 3 hours per property, we have 10 properties right now. That's 30 hours of work that should happen kind of automatically. And it should be improved because as part of that prior activity, we were the ones like digesting all the changes. And now we'll still do that, but we'll have like a tool evaluating that as well to give us kind of prompts.
Yeah, amazing to use it in that way.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Are there any obstacles or challenges that you've maybe recently faced that you now in hindsight have learned from?
Yeah, of course. I mentioned that cell phone tower activity. So that was very interesting. So we, this property has a Fannie Mae loan, and which is an agency loan. And the first thing our broker said to do when we decided we wanted to sell this contract was, hey, make sure the lender's okay with this. So we reached out to the lender, our lender rep, and said, this is what we're planning to do. We're planning to sell this cell phone tower contract on the roof of the building. And we got an email that said, yeah, no problem there. So we went off, we hired a broker, we hired a lawyer, we marketed it, we solicited bids, we got offers, we negotiated offers, we signed offers. And then as the purchaser was going through the due diligence, they said, oh, we need your lender to sign this, agreement, or just this notification that says that they are okay with this sale. Because it's got, in my opinion, nothing to do with the lender, but the building is the lender's collateral and this is on the building. So it makes sense. And the lender came back and said, oh, Fannie Mae does not accept these kind of sales. Like we won't, like it's completely dead. And, at that point we could have just said, oh, well, that's the rules and gone back to the seller who had spent a lot of time on this. We had spent a lot of our broker's time, who's working on commission. I mean, like dozens and dozens of hours. And we had also probably accumulated $20,000 in legal fees to date. So we reached out to connections and we, really pushed on it. We hired a different lawyer and effectively over 6 months worked with the agency servicer to get approval. And we just closed this week. So I guess like the lesson learned from that was one, when there's someone who can really stop a deal, make sure that they're fully understand. Like we got the email that said we were fine, but we probably should have pushed at that point and said, hey, we need something on letterhead. We need, at least that would have triggered that person to talk to their legal or get kind of an official. We just got the email. We're like, perfect, lender's good, next. But then on the flip side, I think it really did emphasize or reinforce the fact that, a lot of times things that seem insurmountable are just hurdles. Like, okay, what other direction can we go at this thing? If we just take the assumption this is going to get done, how do we get there? And it was like a big win because this was a lot of effort over a long time with very uncertain outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that those challenges are always going to come up, and it's great to be able to work through them and see the lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is maybe some advice you have for those that are earlier on in their investing journey?
I would say two things. One is if you want to do something, like say you want to get into real estate, whether it's passive investing or buy a property or whatever the topic is, it doesn't have to be real estate. Tell people that you respect. Tell your spouse, your parents, like, this is my plan. Because it sort of keeps you accountable. Because the next time you see that person, they're going to say, oh, how's that? Last time we spoke, you were going to, buy a strip mall. How's that going? And it kind of keeps you moving when you might stall. And I forgot the second one. Oh, take action. Like, even if it's not perfect, don't get stuck kind of in analysis paralysis where you need to be the expert in everything before you can make the first step. Just make an offer. It's not you'll learn something from it, and you have a lot of opportunities to back out. In my first property, if I had underwrote it now, I wouldn't have bought it because I know so much more. The financials didn't look, it didn't look terrible, but I would be like, nope, it doesn't meet the criteria. But at the time, with what I knew, seemed like a good idea. I felt like there was a little risk, and it worked out extremely well. And even if it had broken even, I would have learned a ton.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more, where can people find you and connect with you?
So the best place is my website, emcapitalgroup.com. And then I'm also active on LinkedIn under Christopher Lento and EM Capital.
Perfect. Well, really appreciate your time and your story. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks. Good talking to you.
Of course. And for the listeners tuning in, if you got value, make sure you've subscribed. We have more conversations with operators who are building real businesses, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.